Gracie Barra. Gracie Barra was founded in 1986 by Carlos Gracie Jr., the son of one of the original pioneers of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. He started it in Rio de Janeiro with one mission, which was to make Jiu Jitsu structured, accessible, and professional. Back then, most academies were rough, unregulated, and built around ego. Carlos Jr. wanted something different and a place where anyone could train, no matter their age, background, or fitness level. From that small gym in Rio, Gracie Barra exploded into a global powerhouse with over 1,000 schools worldwide. Walk into one and you'll instantly know where you are. Parents love it, beginners love it, and travelers know exactly what to expect anywhere in the world. That consistency is what made Gracie Barra one of the most recognizable brands in martial arts, but it's also what gave it a reputation for being too corporate. The good side is real. You'll get structured learning that covers every position, every escape, and every submission in a logical order. The classes are built to make you improve safely, even if you've never fought a day in your life. You'll learn balance, control, and awareness long before you ever think about competition. And for people who just want a steady, well-organized path to getting better, it's perfect. But the downsides are hard to ignore. The rules are rigid and you have to wear their GI, pay their membership, and attend all their seminars. Promotions often depend on time and attendance more than actual ability. And while that creates predictability, it also means your belt sometimes feels like a receipt instead of an achievement. You'll find world-class black belts under the Gracie Barra banner, but also plenty of schools that operate more like fitness franchises than fight gyms. That's the paradox of Gracie Barra. It's both the most accessible and the most criticized jiu-jitsu school on the planet. The environment is friendly and safe, but if you crave the chaos, intensity, and competitive grind of old-school jiu-jitsu, it might start to feel too controlled. Still, you can't deny its impact. Gracie Barra opened the door for tens of thousands of people who might have been too intimidated to start otherwise. It's the perfect place to learn the fundamentals, build confidence, and decide if this lifestyle is for you. But for most serious grapplers, it's a starting line, not the finish. 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu. Founded by Eddie Bravo in the early 2000s, 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu started as a rebellion against tradition. While most of the jiu-jitsu world was built around the kimono and Gracie-style structure, Eddie looked at mixed martial arts, especially the early UFC, and saw something missing. Fighters were slipping out of grips because nobody wore a kimono in the cage, and techniques that relied on cloth just didn't work. His answer was to strip it all away, train without the kimono, and make it modern, creative, and fun. The result was a system that threw convention out the window. 10th Planet focused on flexibility, flow, and innovation. 10th Planet athletes are known for submissions from weird angles, unorthodox guards like rubber guard and lockdown, and transitions that made traditionalists shake their heads. Early on, the scene treated it like a joke. Too weird, they said. But then the results came. Eddie submitted Royler Gracie in 2003, which was a huge moment that gave 10th Planet legitimacy overnight. Suddenly, the outsiders became a movement. Step into a 10th Planet gym and you'll notice the difference immediately. No bowing to pictures on the wall, no weird rules, just rash guards, loud music, and people experimenting. Some schools feel like creative labs and others feel like chaotic open mats, with personalities bigger than their skill sets. It's an environment that rewards creativity and open-mindedness, but it also depends heavily on the instructor. A good 10th Planet coach builds killers, and a bad one builds hobbyists who think flexibility equals skill. The positive side, though, is that 10th Planet produces grapplers who are incredibly comfortable in scrambles, creative with submissions, and fearless about trying new things. They're often great in MMA because their techniques translate well without the kimono. The atmosphere is casual, but the best schools, like the ones run by Richie Martinez or Gio Martinez, produce monsters. The downsides, though, is their consistency. Because the system is decentralized, every gym is different. Some are elite competition rooms and others are glorified hangouts. The focus on flashy submissions sometimes overshadows fundamentals like passing pressure or positional control, and the lack of structure means you can plateau fast if you don't have the right training partners. Still, 10th Planet deserves respect. They brought creativity, openness, and experimentation to a martial art that was starting to stagnate. Whether you love them or mock them, they've undeniably influenced how modern jiu-jitsu is taught and practiced. At its best, 10th Planet is freedom, where they have no uniforms, no rules, and no boundaries. At its worst, it's chaos, but in a sport that thrives on evolution, Eddie Bravo's system made one thing clear: you don't have to follow tradition to build a revolution. Alliance Jiu-Jitsu. Alliance is the definition of legacy. Founded in 1993 by Fabio Gurgel, Romero Cavalcanti, and Alexandra Paiva, this team was built on one idea, which was that structure wins. While other gyms focused on raw talent or individual stars, Alliance built a system that produced champions generation after generation. The results speak for themselves, with over 13 IBJJF World Team titles and a reputation as one of the most dominant and disciplined academies in jiu-jitsu history. From day one, Alliance had a clear identity. It was traditional, methodical, and unapologetically serious. Every class had purpose, every drill had context, and every student was expected to treat jiu-jitsu like a craft and not a hobby. The gym became famous for turning ordinary athletes into world champions through consistency. If you've ever rolled with an Alliance black belt, you can feel that structure. Their timing, their pressure, and their clean technique are all top tier. Some of the sport's greatest names came from here. Marcelo Garcia, Lucas Lepri, and Rubens Charles, all forged through Alliance's disciplined approach. Their style became instantly recognizable, often being crisp passing, relentless positional control, and a calm confidence that never breaks under pressure. But that structure comes with a price. Alliance gyms are strict, and rules about uniforms, behavior, and training order are common. The atmosphere leans traditional, and bowing and having respect for hierarchy is normal here. It's not the kind of place where you show up in a random rash guard and start experimenting with heel hooks. If you're used to a free-flowing modern vibe, Alliance will feel like military school. For some, that discipline is motivating, but for others, it's suffocating. Another thing to note is that Alliance has always focused on training with the kimono. Their focus on IBJJF competitions means that leg locks, crossover, or self-defense applications often take a back seat. It's a world built around points, grips, and precision. If that's your goal, there's no better place to be. But if you're chasing creativity or street-ready practicality, Alliance can feel limited. Still, what Alliance represents is excellence through discipline. You don't join Alliance to experiment, you join to sharpen. Checkmat Jiu-Jitsu, founded in 2008 by Leo Vieira, one of the most creative and charismatic grapplers of his generation, Checkmat was built on a mix of old-school Brazilian grit and modern adaptability. It's not polished, it's raw, competitive, and proud. Walk into a Checkmat gym and you'll instantly feel it. The air is thicker, the pace is faster, and the energy is personal. Checkmat started as a family, literally. The Vieira brothers, Leo and Ricardo, carried the DNA of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu's wild, experimental era into the modern competition scene. They weren't about perfection. They were about results. The team quickly exploded onto the global stage, winning multiple IBJJF world titles and producing legends like Marcus Almeida and Lucas Leida. Their students became known for aggression, creativity, and an ability to thrive in chaos. The culture at Checkmat is intense. Classes are hard, sparring is harder, and you earn every bit of respect you get. There's less hand-holding than in corporate-style schools. Coaches expect you to show up, shut up, and prove yourself through training. That's why people who thrive in high-pressure environments love it. It feels like a real fight gym, not a fitness class. The roles are aggressive, the coaching is honest, and you'll either improve fast or get eaten alive trying. But that intensity comes with trade-offs. The atmosphere can feel intimidating for newcomers, and not every affiliate maintains the same standard. Some Checkmat gyms are pure world-class competition rooms, and others operate more casually, leaning on the name. The leadership's focus has always been on results, not branding, which means consistency across affiliates isn't guaranteed. What really sets Checkmat apart, though, is personality. It's one of the few major teams that still feels alive and not sanitized or overmanaged. You'll see wild guards, heavy wrestling, and submissions coming from unexpected places. It's literally Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in its purest form. If you're someone who loves intensity, thrives under pressure, and doesn't mind getting smashed on your way to improvement, Checkmat might be your place. It's where you go when you've already built a base and now want to find your edge. GFTeam. Grappling Fight Team is the grinder's gym, the place where talent doesn't mean much if you don't show up every day and bleed for it. Founded by Julio Cesar Pereira in Rio de Janeiro, Grappling Fight Team is the spiritual successor to the old-school Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu mindset. While big names like Atos or DreamArt get the spotlight, Grappling Fight Team built its reputation in the trenches. They came from humble beginnings in a room full of killers in mismatched clothes, fighting for recognition. That underdog energy still defines the team today. They never cared about building a fancy brand or chasing Instagram clout. They built fighters. You'll notice something immediately at their academy. The mats are full, the rolls are long, and there's not much time spent on speeches or small talk. The instructors are often quiet but brutally efficient. The focus is on pressure passing, fundamentals, and mental toughness. If you train there for a year, you won't just get better technically, you'll get harder. Grappling Fight Team's success speaks for itself. They've produced elite competitors like Vitor Oliveira, Mario Reis, and Gutenberg Pereira, all known for their relentless pace and physicality. Their athletes don't rely on athleticism or flash, they rely on grinding consistency. It's not pretty jiu-jitsu, but it wins. The culture, however, isn't for everyone. There's little tolerance for ego or laziness, but also not much hand-holding for new students. You're expected to figure things out through suffering. It's the kind of environment that turns blue belts into beasts, but it can overwhelm casual hobbyists who just want a friendly roll and a chat afterward. Still, that's what makes the Grappling Fight Team special. It's one of the last remaining places that feels like authentic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and not an Americanized business model. You earn your belts through grit, not attendance cards. You roll hard, you learn respect, and you either adapt or get left behind. In a world where Jiu-Jitsu sometimes feels over-commercialized, the Grappling Fight Team is a reminder of where it came from. It's a home for workhorses, grinders, and people who still believe in the beauty of hard training without hashtags. Dream Art Project. Dream Art isn't a team, it's an evolution. Founded in 2018 by Isake Bahiense, Dream Art redefined what a modern jiu-jitsu team could be. It's not about a local gym with a few tough guys anymore. It's a full-blown professional training project built around sports science, nutrition, psychology, and data. Every detail of an athlete's life, like their sleep, diet, mindset, and recovery, is part of the system. Dream Art took jiu-jitsu from being a passion to being a profession. The project was born in Brazil but quickly expanded globally, partnering with sponsors and opening high-end training facilities across multiple countries. It became a magnet for young, hungry athletes who didn't just want to train but wanted to make it. The idea was simple: take raw talent and give it the structure of an Olympic program. And it worked. In just a few years, Dream Art produced champions in every major organization, from IBJJF Worlds to AJP and ADCC trials. Athletes like Fabricio André, Mika Galvão, and Ana Rodriguez represent the new face of jiu-jitsu. You can feel the professionalism in everything they do, from training intensity to the way they carry themselves at events. But that level of polish comes at a cost. Dream Art isn't a family gym. It's not the place you go to casually roll after work. It's a performance factory. Every athlete is there with a goal, and if you can't keep up, you'll fall behind. It's an environment that breeds winners, but also pressure. Some love that and others burn out. Critics say Dream Art feels corporate or too image-focused, and they're not wrong. Social media presence, sponsorship deals, and brand identity are part of the formula. It's jiu-jitsu built for the modern era. There's not much of the wild, chaotic fight-for-your-life energy that old-school gyms like Checkmat have. Instead, it's replaced with structure, professionalism, and polish. But here's the truth. Dream Art represents the future. They've proven that with the right systems, jiu-jitsu athletes can have careers, not just medals. They're shaping the sport into something sustainable, global, and respected. You might not vibe with their perfectionist culture, but you can't deny the impact. Atos Jiu Jitsu. Atos' discipline turned into a brand. Founded in 2008 by Andre Galvão and Ramon Lemos, Atos Jiu Jitsu was never meant to be a casual gym. It was designed from the ground up to create champions. Everything about it reflects that purpose: the schedule, the intensity, the loyalty, the code of conduct. If some schools feel like communities, Atos feels like a team and a structured, unified force that trains with military precision. The story of Atos started when Galvão and Lemos left Brasa and Checkmat to create something new, which was a place that combined modern technical innovation with traditional values. The word Atos literally means acts in Portuguese, symbolizing faith through action, and that belief system is baked into everything they do. When you train at Atos HQ in San Diego, you can feel it instantly. The energy is sharp, focused, and serious. People show up early, drill hard, and don't complain. Sparring rounds are intense and competitive, but controlled. You're surrounded by world-class athletes like Kenan Duarte, Lucas Barbosa, Tai Rutolo, Cade Rutolo, and even legends like Galvão himself. Atos' technical system is one of the best in the world. They're modern, aggressive, and built around tight passing, dynamic transitions, and relentless forward pressure. Their fighters aren't just strong, they're strategic. But with that greatness comes a reputation. Atos can feel intense to outsiders. There's a culture of loyalty that borders on being religious. You represent the shield, and betrayal isn't tolerated. That's why some fighters who leave the team, like the Rutolos or other former members, often part ways dramatically. It's not always easy to be part of a system that strict, but that structure is exactly what keeps Atos elite. New Wave Jiu-Jitsu. New Wave is less of a gym and more of a laboratory where every roll, every grip, and every reaction is broken down, studied, and rebuilt into something sharper. Founded by John Danaher after the split from the original Danaher Death Squad, New Wave became the epicenter of technical evolution in modern grappling. This is where the science of jiu-jitsu lives. Under Danaher, nothing is random. Every move has a purpose, and every athlete knows exactly why they're doing what they're doing. It's not about being flashy or explosive, it's about being efficient. Gordon Ryan is the perfect example of that philosophy in motion. Calm, methodical, and unstoppable. He doesn't beat opponents with chaos, he beats them with logic. New Wave has taken that mindset and built an entire system around it. The training is quiet but intense. You won't hear people shouting or drilling nonsense. You'll hear Danaher explaining concepts like a professor, often talking about why certain grips matter, why positions fail, how to create inevitable submissions through structure and pressure. Every student there learns how to think, not just how to move. The results speak for themselves. New Wave athletes dominate ADCC and big competitions. They've turned the sport into something closer to chess than wrestling. But like all greatness, it comes with criticism. People call them arrogant, robotic, or even boring, but that's what happens when you dominate for too long. The truth is, they're not just changing how people fight, they're changing how people learn. New Wave isn't warm or welcoming in the traditional sense. It's not about community vibes or belt ceremonies. It's about mastery. It's a place for those obsessed with progress and precision, and that's why they're number one. They don't just win, they redefine the game every time they step on the mat. In a way, New Wave represents both the best and scariest part of modern jiu-jitsu. It's no longer longer about tradition or toughness, it's about evolution. And love them or hate them, they're the ones leading that evolution right now. At the end of the day, every jiu-jitsu school teaches you something different. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more honest takes on the jiu-jitsu world, hit subscribe and let's keep rolling through the truth together.